like to talk about the Arabic language, the language of Quran. But you know that every translation we cannot translate 100% the meanings that are in the first language. So all people knows that if you want to really study the Quran, you have to learn Arabic language. Let me just give you some examples to see the power of this language. I don't know about the other languages. Every language is very good. And Allah says, in the diversity of your languages and your color, there are signs of the Creator. You see? So Allah recognized the diversity of colors and languages. Even the birds have language because Sulaiman said we have been teaching the language of the birds, منطق الطير, and so on. I hope that all the non-Arabic speaking Muslims learn very well the Arabic language. I can give you one example of the beauty of this language. I have heard from Brother Hamza Yusuf, who is very known on the world. He has taught me something, and I am Arab, and I have learned Arabic from 5 years. Since I was 5 years old, now I am 64. So he said, for example, if we look at the verbs, nafasa, nafaha, nafaha, and nafakha, just by making the last letter of this verb stronger, we make the verb stronger. You can see the meaning of nafasa is to blow softly air. Nafaha, it's harder, and nafakha is to blow balloon. We need strong pressure, you see? And there are many examples. In Arabic language, just by inverting letters, you take one word and you just invert the first and second, and you may have synonym. And there are letters that have some meaning, like sad, like ta, and so on. For example, Allah says, istana'tuka. There is sana'a, who is to fabricate, to construct, and istana'a. Istana'a, it's like I don't see really the meaning, but it's I think it's stronger, because there is saraha, to shout, and staraha is tarifun. The people who are in the hellfire, Allah says, yastarifun. You see? So ta, it's you can deduce something about the letter ta, and so on. I hope that I'm sure many people are studying the Arabic language, but you have to study it also. Try to stay in Quran as much as you can, because the Quran it's known from all scholars that it explains itself. And stay in the Quran as long as you can. See, you have I will just give you some rules. While I am reading the Quran, I notice some things that I didn't know before, even if I am Arabic in the origin. For example, you have in many like in other languages, you have the root of the word, and you have some letters that are added in the beginning or in the end. So you can use this to understand many words in Quran in Arabic language. See? For example, the letter in the beginning may be ta, ista, and so on. So you have the root. So, for example, if you want to understand a new word, for many months I am not using the dictionary, because even the dictionary sometimes it's wrong. It's wrong, yes, because they use the opinion of some scholars, and you know, from scholar to scholar to scholar, copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. At the end, we lose the original. So it's better to stay in Quran as much as you can. So, for example, if I have a new word I don't know, just I use there is a site very useful, very powerful. It's Qoran keywords, and you go there, you select the language. Of course, it should be Arabic. At least if you can. If you don't study Arabic, you are wasting your time. I tell you the truth. You have to first learn Arabic, and you can learn Arabic and Quran in the same time. I am learning Arabic, because since there are many words I don't understand, and I look for them in Arabic. I take the root of the word, and I go to the site Quran keywords. I put the root, and I tell the software to look for them. In general, you can look for them in a specific chapter or in all chapters, and you select if you want the exact phrase or you want only the words, in order, disorder, whatever. And you will have many verses. And when you consider all the verses, it's highly, you have a very high probability to understand the meaning of the word. And this is the original. And you will see by yourself, if you go to dictionary, first it's not practical, it's very, for one word they give you pages of explanation. You don't have time to read all these pages. You see, try to use, there is dictionary online, it's very, it's not easy to use. They give you pages and pages of explanations, and you don't need all this. But in Quran, Allah with His hikmah, He has concentrated so much knowledge, you will understand, inshallah. So I am doing this, and I am learning a lot of new words, and that's all. I think it's okay. To show you the beauty and the power of the Arabic language. As said my brother from Masjid al-Quds, Abu Arfa, Barakallahu fih, وزاده الله علم. May Allah give him more and more knowledge. I have learned from him how to study Quran. First, to see the power of the language. In Quran, chapter is surah. And sur in Arabic, it's a wall. You see? So when you are in chapter, it means that the chapter contains it has a certain purpose. You see? And to understand the verses in one chapter, in one surah, you have to come back always to the title of the surah, of the chapter, and the title has a huge meaning. So first, the titles of the surahs, they have meanings. For example, Baqarah, there are many understandings. You see? For example, Surah Baqarah, Brother Abu Arfa says, Baqarah, it means, if you look in the meaning of the word, or even in practice, because Allah, He says from An'am, for example, from Baqarah, you can eat, you can have meat, you can use the skin, you can use the hair, you can use everything. So there is there is a lot of wealth in Baqarah. And in Surah Baqarah, chapter Baqarah, there is a lot of knowledge, and we know the importance of Baqarah. It's the first and the longest surah. So to study Quran, you have to consider the surah, the title, which has a meaning. For example, Ali Imran, the third surah. It's about Ali Imran. Ali Imran is the family of Imran, and we know that Maryam alayhi salam is the daughter of Imran. You see, and Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, is the son of the daughter of Imran. So there is all the surah. You have to concentrate on the family of Imran, Maryam, and Isa alayhim salam. So any verses in any surah, it has the relation of the name of the surah. The name is the purpose of the surah. What Allah wants us to learn. You see, if you go, for example, to any surah, the title has a meaning in Arabic, and the word surah has the meaning, and ayah versus ayah has a meaning, because ayah means the sign, and you see the word. If we look around, we see the ayats of Allah, the sign that there is a creator. As said Bill Gates, the world is very well programmed, and any program needs a programmer. You see? And Allah says, I will show them my signs in the horizons and in themselves. And we are looking to the signs of Allah with Hubble, with the many high sophisticated technology. So, brothers and sisters, if you want to study Quran, and Allah says, do tadabbur. Tadabbur is to read it deeply. But since I am using the power of the Arabic language, dubur is the back, your back. So tadabbur Quran, it means you add the letter ta, and you will learn what is the meaning of ta. Ta is when you do something yourself. Kallama is he has talked. Takallama, it means he has talked from himself. You see? So tadabbur is to give your back when you start from the beginning of Quran Fatiha and you read towards An-Nas. When you are reading, it's like you are walking. You are showing your back to Surah Fatiha, and when you finish, you return. You show your back to Surah An-Nas. This is tadabbur. And the Prophet ﷺ, he says, Barakallahu, may Allah greet or give barakah to a person to Rahil and Murtahil, to a person who walks back and forth. He was meaning reading Quran back and forth, because we know that, and now it's known that a baby from the first days, we can read the book to him and he will memorize it. He will memorize it. So when we are reading back and forth, we are memorizing, we are learning. But Allah, from time to time, He shows us. You have noticed this, I am sure. From time to time, you understand something that you have been reading maybe hundreds of times. Why? Because you are ready. You are ready. So we don't need scholars. We don't need scholars to explain us the deep meaning of Quran. We need scholars only to show us, if we don't have time to do it, how to apply Quran in business, in marriage, in the society. You see? And even if a scholar tell you something, you have to check it as soon as possible. Because when you will be the day of judgment, Allah will ask you, why didn't you read Quran back and forth and understand it? What will you say? I am sure that we are spending 99% of our time in doing meaningless things. and neglecting Quran. And by the way, I suggest to my brothers and sisters to decrease softly the meaningless occupations and time, and to increase the time given to Quran to study. Okay. So if you want to, when you are reading Quran, you have to put, when you read the surah chapter, you put in your head the title and you try to have a meaning. You see? For example, Baqarah, if you, there is an explanation of my brother Abu Arfa, but I have another explanation. I think, of course, first I was convinced by my brother, but now I see another, maybe another one will see better. If some other one, you, for example, if you can convince me, I will follow you for this point. Baqarah, we go directly to chapter Baqarah, and we see what is around this word. And we see that Allah says, some people of children of Israel, we understand that they have killed some person, and they wanted to hide the killer, and Allah told them through Musa alayhi salam to slaughter a cow and then to take one part of the cow and to hit the dead person, and the dead person will wake up and tell them the killer. You see? So what is the ayah, you see, here? So we read what is around the word Baqarah, and we ask ourselves, what is the ayah? What is the sign here? The sign I see, I may be wrong, of course. If anyone can correct me, I will thank him a lot. So I see that Allah is showing that He can resuscitate the dead people. You see, He's showing us this. So, and He has shown this, of course, with Isa, since Isa was able to resuscitate dead people with the permission of Allah. So, because the biggest problem for people is that they do not believe in the day of judgment, so they are not scared. Because even if you believe, there are people who believe in God, in Allah, but they don't believe in the day of judgment. So they do what they want. They feel free to do bad things. You see? So it's very important. Allah always says to believe in Allah, and to believe in the day of judgment. It's very important. And from this, for example, if you have, for example, you have the meanings of the cat letters in many chapters. For example, Alif Lam Mim in Surah Baqarah. Allah wants us. That's why I understand, and I have checked it there for many months. I may be wrong, of course. So Allah is saying to us, to understand more this chapter, you have to go to the chapter that starts, whose the title starts with Alif Lam Mim, like Al-Mu'minun, Al-Ma'idah, Al-Munafiqun, and so on. And you have to look for chapters that are related to Al-Baqarah, which the purpose is that Allah resuscitate the dead people. So I have done this. I went to Surah Mu'minun, and I look for chapters about resurrection of dead people. You see? And I went to Surah Al-Ma'idah, and you find complementary knowledge. Now we can ask ourselves, why didn't Allah put these ayat, these verses in the Baqarah? Why did He, the Hakim, Al-Alim, Al-Qadir, Al-Jabbar, Al-Khaliq, Al-Bari, Al-Musawwar? You have always to read Quran with these names, the convenient name of Allah. Always tell yourself that you are weak, you are
like Allah says, weak in hurry, and so on. ضعيف عجولة, ignorant, جهولة. You have always to have these names about you and the names of Allah, the Qadir, the Alim, the Khabir, the most in everything, in knowledge, in expertise and everything. So Allah will, if you respect Him, He will give you knowledge. If you read Quran to find some mistakes or some contradiction, you will. Allah will show you contradiction, and He will lose you. Allah lose anyone He wants and guides anyone He wants, any person He wants. Wants here, it's of course the desire of Allah, but the desire of Allah is just. It's because you want this. Of course, we will talk about this another time. So if you go to Surah Mu'minun, Surah Ma'idah, you will okay. I was saying why Allah didn't put these verses in Surah Baqarah, because you will see that it's more inconvenient, because Ma'idah and Baqarah, they have a purpose. Ma'idah and Mu'minun. Mu'minun, of course, the title is Mu'minun, so you will see many things about believers. And Ma'idah, because it's about the people of Bani Israel who asked Isa alayhi salam to ask Allah for a table full of food, so that they eat, so that their heart become more comfortable about all what Isa said before. So this is the purpose of Ma'idah, and we can see the purpose of Mu'minun, the chapters, and Allah put these verses, and you will see that the verses in Mu'minun and not in Baqarah has meaning. There is also knowledge in this, and so on. You can do the same thing for Surah Maryam, Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad. You see it's Surah Maryam. So look to understand the purpose. It's Maryam, the mother of Isa, and what is the purpose of this surah? You have to look for the purpose, and for the first letter Ka is Kaf, Surah Kaf, Kaf Ha. Ha is Hud or any other which start with Ha or Alif Ha. Sometimes, for example, Ka, you don't have a chapter starting with Ka, but you have start Al-Kahf, because Alif Lam is only article, it is not important. Kaf Ha Ya, it may be Yunus or Yusuf. Ain, Kaf Ha Ya Ain, Ankabut. Sad is either Sad, chapter Sad, or Safat, or As-Saf. I think in As-Saf you will find some knowledge related to chapter of Maryam alayhi salam. So I stop here, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.